Hello my friends and welcome to Inside Out Electronic Channel. This is Uncle Misha and today we have another cassette deck here. This is JVC TD, barely see it, but believe me, TDW-717 double cassette deck. This is my cassette deck. I bought it for like super cheap. Also got with it a box of TDK SA and it's actually I like this one and I decided to keep it because usually I don't get any like double cassette deck because they are chintzy. So but this one is a little bit different. This one has compute calibration, it has BC and HX Pro noise reduction, and HX Pro for a bias adjustment on the fly, which is pretty cool because unfortunately it's not, you cannot turn it off. That's the only downside. You cannot turn it off, this HX Pro, but it actually works pretty good. And compute calibration on both decks can record, so which is pretty cool. I haven't tried to record on same time from the one source, but this theoretically it is possible to record on two cassettes from the one source. Don't know what the heck is DDRP, dynamic detection recording processor, but whatever. So both decks are auto reverse, they have this flip head and things like that. Another cool feature here, it has phone control, so these phones are, you can adjust volume, which is amazing. It has pitch control for this deck, for deck A, and a microphone level, which is I don't give a crap about. It has real-time counter, very nice display with relatively okay level, precision, and this is not heavy, and I would say this is like a consumer model no matter what, because it doesn't have any features. Obviously a double head, not three head models, but that both decks can record. It's actually pretty cool, and both decks have CompuCall. The only thing what I do not understand, if this deck and this deck has separate compute calibration. For example, if you compute calibrate type 2 for this deck, is it gonna be the same for this deck or not? I did not do any tests. So for example, you can compute calibrate TDK SA8 here and Maxell XL2 here, and would they keep two different bias and equalization settings or not? That's a very good question. But nevertheless, the compute calibration works on both. So why I'm actually put it on the bench? Because apparently this deck has a problem. It started sounding very noisy and create some kind of squealing noises. So I would like to take a look what the heck is going on. Also I would like to take a look what's going on with those two, just to make sure they are both doing okay, because instead of running some random tapes on my like 3-head decks, I decided to run them here, and after a while these decks start producing some weird ass noises. So I'll show you what is going on here, and then we will open it up and see. Okay, let me power this guy up. Oh, it's just powered up, yeah. And take our favorite, some kind of cassette deck I have. I think this is like, let's power it up. So it's power, you barely see this. Also I like this is nice and fast, open action. Okay, let's play. I don't know why it actually shows CompuCall. I said. Okay. So rewind works actually fine. I don't know if you hear it, but when it plays, as you see, music is really blinking here. When it plays, it's actually have this noise, and I don't like it. Actually, it's kind of funny. It's not as bad as it used to be. I don't know now. Maybe it was tape depending. Let's open this one. Oh, someone calling me. Sorry. Okay, as you see, relatively, this deck is relatively quiet, much quieter than this deck. Okay, this way it produces some noises. Okay, maybe it was actually a... Let me take my most favorite cassette, JVC TDW-717. Now it also has this clicking noise. Okay, well, it's really hard to tell what the heck is going on here. Yeah, noises are different. Maybe I was mistaken. Very interesting. Looks like there is nothing really to talk about. Okay, well, if there is nothing really to talk about, there is nothing really broken. Looks like it's fine. I don't know. Maybe that those few times that I had any weird issues with this deck was actually pretty bad cassettes, because it's just working now. Nothing I can tell about it. Okay, so let me remove the cassette from here. And we still gonna do teardown, no matter what. So because I want to see what's inside, we gonna unplug this thing, because usually in this sort of old cassette decks, no one was giving a shit about safety, so all main stuff is just exposed. So now we're gonna open up this deck, and there's a few screws around here. I'm still gonna examine belts to see if maybe they are start deteriorating, maybe there is something has to be lubricated, you know, because I don't like these noises. And at the same time we can just take a look what is going on in there, like how does it look like, because this is first time I disassembling the JVC, anything JVC, so okay, two more screws in here. Different kind. Yeah, that's it. Just two more here. Typical, pretty typical construction. Ta-da! Whoopsies, hit the camera. Alright, here we are. Okay. Okay. It's a bit crusty looking here, I must say. It looks like there's some sort of flax residue got turned white, but nevertheless, it's all looking good and dandy. I like the board. I think it's a bit dusty. It is dusty. I'm gonna use some air just to blow the stuff away. Okay, so we have the big flat flags, dusty as well. Transformer right here. This is power supply part. All capacitors looks like, what the heck is this? Marcon. Marcon, never seen Marcon. I must say, never seen Marcon. Okay, this is Marcon capacitor. This looks like a Rubicon. Rubicon, yeah, those nice blue ones are Rubicons. This is Marcon, have to figure out what is Marcon, but looks like actually legit nice capacitor. Yeah, a bit of dust everywhere, which need to be cleaned up. Beside that, actually a lot of discrete ICs, quite a lot. Looks like some of the functional parts is marked. Let me take some kind of pokey bits and show you what I mean. I take this. That's my favorite plastic pokey bit here. Okay, so for example, here it says A rack amp. So this rack amplifier, B, oh, A and B, okay, two decks. B HX Pro, probably gonna be somewhere HX Pro. So some of the modules here, they just mark. So here's HX Pro module. There's some, by the way, what are those? I don't know, but they are unpopulated on A and B side. So curious, what are those? Then it says B bias oscillator. I guess this is, yeah, this is looks like a bias oscillator part, like in here. Usually two inductors, transistors, like this could be a part of bias oscillator, and here should be bias oscillator as well. Then, for example, on this side we have MS and blank skip. MS and blank, I don't know what the heck is MS. And then B head amp. B headphone amplifier, probably. It's weird that there is a separate, I don't think there is a separate amplifier for A and B, it's just gonna be the one. And there is here B playback equalization adjustment, so technically it can be fiddled with, okay. I don't see much more. Still see nice capacitors. My favorite Panasonic Matsushita capacitors, which is this look like a Dolby noise reduction and B record amplifier. I'm curious if this shared for both decks or just for one, because I don't see similar thing right on here. So I hope there is no different features for both. Looks like blank skip. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So blank skip is only here. This guy doesn't have blank skip. So that's something to, you know, to note. Okay. And I assume this Dolby B is applicable to both? I guess, I hope. Yeah, let's have to see what kind of magic is going on here, because looks like Dolby noise reduction and B rack amp. And where is the A rack amp? Playback adjustment, I see, obviously has to be two separate playback adjustments. But record equalization obviously should be, again, technically for both, because two separate decks which can be performing recording, unless this goes from source, and there is equalization, and then it goes for this or that deck simultaneously. This could be issue if, for example, you want to record from the same source, you put type 1 here, type 2 here, you did your compu calibration, and you want to just have the same recording on two different types. I'm not sure if it's even possible, but I'm actually running a little bit ahead, so there is several interesting use cases here. And again, I'm not sure if A has noise reduction, sorry, because actually over here I see the same NAC chip, NAC chip. Okay, here we are, HX Pro here and HX Pro here, so this is all good. So HX Pro exists for both. Dolby noise reduction, it's probably on the playback only. obviously, but there is a decoder, but encoder, which can be recording. So that's I'm not sure where to look for this. So there is two separate bias oscillators, had two separate headphone amps. Why? That's interesting, because here is headphone amp and here is headphone amp. Okay, so definitely have to take a look at the schematic, because this is getting kind of bizarre. But this is amazing actually. If those two have like so much separate electronics, this is actually quite interesting. Yeah. Anyways, let's keep going. What else we see kind of bizarre and interesting? What is this? That's hard to see. I don't see. Microphone amp and... Oh, guys, forget it. Head amp means a recording head. Because I just found a little over here op amp, which highly likely there is a headphones amplifier. Just right beside the microphone amplifiers, hidden behind those two four ribbon cables. Never mind them. Okay, this is now it's totally makes sense, because before it didn't. Still curious, what the heck is this? Like, yeah, have to take a look at the schematic, and maybe there's some more advanced models which would, you know, show what are those. Because they are in the location where would be kind of interesting to understand where are they. There is some kind of functionality, could be, which is not. For example, I don't know, DBX noise reduction. I don't know if JVC ever had DBX. I don't know. It's my just wild guess. Looks like one screw is missing here, which is interesting. I'm not sure if you see, like right here, there's a hole without screw, because here is screw, here is screw, but there is no screw here. Weird. That's it. Actually, it's look nice and dandy. So now let's try to do like this and see. I'm gonna be putting some load, unnecessary load on some controls. Okay, so we have three motors, but this guy I assume gonna be for the Mac. That's maybe not. I don't know which one is better. Like me. Oh, it's hard. It's hard to see. Okay, it's probably better angle this way. So we have two plastic capstan wheels, because obviously we have bidirectional playback, so they are plastic. Looks like the only belt I see is this one, and it's in a good shape. Probably nothing else I would be able to see, because it's very well hidden, I must say. Oh my god. So looks like the actually Mac motor is this motor, because it has a whole bunch of cogs connected to it. Alright. And this DAC is similar story. Yeah. So this dinky motor over here is the capstan motor. So it rotates both capstan wheels, this dinky one, and it is it has Matsushita, or I think, marker on it. The other motor here in the center, like this one, it's probably real motor, and this one is Mac motor, Macnis motor. So this is good. It's actually very nice that the capstan motor is just right here, right? It's very easy to access, so you see the belt and things like that. Belt is pretty thin. It's like 3.5–4 millimeter thin. It actually feels a little bit kind of softy, but I think it's okay. Yeah, let's take a look what's going on this side. It's really awkward. What we have on this side? Yeah, this is again Matsushita motor. It's very easy. It's June 95. Yeah, okay, so that's, I was correct on my assumption that this is model from 1995, and that's it. So, like, can we see some chips? What do they say? Okay, this one is dated, NEC chip dated 95, 9521. Yeah, those are all 95. Yeah, okay, so this is 95. Well, in 1995 I was just dreaming about this sort of deck. Yeah, 20 years later. Well, 30 almost years later. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so I definitely won't be able to access this motor without disassembling. But that's it. So let me power it up. Obviously, this is the dangerous. Oops, I don't see that. This is dangerous spot here, so have to make sure I'm not gonna shock myself. I'm curious why this kind of white dust like all over the shop. Yeah, just some cool green capacitors which I cannot identify the brand. They say I see nothing except name TMS 85C capacitors. Very nice. TMS capacitors. Have to take a look what are those. So definitely have to take a look at the schematic to understand about equalization and what's going on here. There are, oh, by the way, there is a whole bunch of unpopulated stuff. Not sure, not a whole bunch, but like few here, few over here. Just curious what are those for. There is even transistor is missing, capacitors, inductor, and things like that. So just wondering what is that going on. This thing has this CompuLink right here. Again, I don't have any experience with this CompuLink, but technically it's supposed to be you would be able to synchronize your deck with your CD deck or something to this extent if you want to do, or with any other device if you want to do, maybe even your how do you call it, audio video receiver, just to be able to record synchronously to this deck. But never, I had no any devices actually support this, whatever protocol they use. Yeah, something to figure out, but because I don't have any appropriate AV receiver, that's where it is. Soldering iron back. Okay, yeah, obviously I'm not gonna pull this board, but highly likely this is just one-sided load, except looks like this Dolby chip HA12 1869EB is just right here. Maybe there's another one, I don't know, on the opposite side of the board, but again, I'm not gonna pull it out because there is no point. Everything seems to be working fine. There's a whole bunch of voltage regulation transistors here. So they are transistors, not some sort of voltage regs, but there is a chippy right here, inline package, so it's probably some specifically designed for that voltage regulator. Again, I don't see what brand is it, nothing. It's probably on opposite side of the chip. Okay, I don't see really anything else cool and interesting. No, nothing notable. There's again some Mitsubishi chips right here. Yeah, it's like all over the shop. Yeah, all sorts of chips, like I don't even know what this BU, BA, that's Sony, because these BU chips I saw in Sony stuff. Maybe this is just a, for example, one of those BA was actually a voltage regulator, but again in different device. I think it's, I saw something like that in my mini disc deck. Yeah, it's another BU chip. Those BU chips could be also motor driver, so yeah, it's very specifically built, purposely built devices. Here is some op-amp, really hard to see, and GRC, Japan Radio Corporation, that's clearly an op-amp, and this one, hard to tell. Headphones op-amp, really hard to tell. Have to take a look at the schematic. Nice. There's nothing to complain. It's actually well done. Layout is very nice. Lots of space. Probably they could have made it even more compact. And yeah, there's nothing really to complain, except I would like to see transformers completely shielded in some kind of metal, you know, just to make sure it's not going to produce less interferences. But we have what we have. There is no fuse, by the way, which is, I cannot wrap my mind why. There is a little tiny, what the heck is this? Resistor or diode? Capacitor. This tiny capacitor for some reason is here. It's not mains, this is like, yeah. But yeah, there is no fuse, which is weird, but whatever. Unknown brand of the capacitor, doesn't say anything on it. That's it. There is a big panel right here, which is like covered and few holes, so maybe there are some other possibilities, some other connectors, but clearly there is nothing over here. Potentially those two could come to some sort of board which is like situated right here. So we have to take a look on different models of the same era to understand what could have been possibly connecting here. Who knows, maybe it was something. I'm not sure what, like at the moment I have no idea, because all noise reduction, HX Pro, like in some other models where there was like a daughter boards, for example HK Harman Kardon CD401 has a daughter board for a HX Pro, and for example some of the TIC models, they had separate board for DBX noise reduction, but this one everything is in already, there is nothing extra, so except maybe DBX, whatever. But again, there is no user interface here to actually switch DBX on and off. Yeah, that's it. There is a lot of there's lots of control, so probably there is a special board. Yeah, there are two special boards. One is this one above, another one right here. It's to control, you know, front, to handle front controls. And I see you see these two ribbons, thinner ribbons, like first and fourth. The first is actually headphones, and the number 4, which goes to the right, is a microphone, and it goes straight to the microphone amplifier. I think it's all neat. I'm pretty happy how it looks like, so let's just power it up and listen closely and see how it behaves. Okay, let's take this cassette, power it on, take this whatever cassette. Actually, this is cassette I found under my hot water tank, believe it or not. Okay, so because looks like the deck is actually in operational state, I don't think I have to fiddle with belts. Maybe belts need some replacement, but not yet. I think speed is fine. I mean, I didn't test the speed, I'm gonna do this, but so far so good, because when I compared it with the tapes on different decks, they sounded pretty much identical as far as my ear can tell. Alright, so what I've noticed that actually heads and one of the pinch roller is actually pretty dirty, so I'm gonna clean them up using some alcohol. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother. Okay, I'm gonna use a little flashlight here just to shine some light in there. Head's actually relatively clean. It's not too bad. But one of the pinch roller, it seems like it's in some kind of sticky gunk. I'm like, what's going on here? So I'm gonna clean this shit up. I haven't noticed it before. I don't even know how this possibly could happen. Yeah, look. Yeah, it's bad. So I'm gonna nicely clean this all up. That's weird. Pretty bad, I must say. I'm wondering if this messed up my tapes. Okay, hope not. Head is pretty clean, I must say. But so this pinch roller is okay. This pinch roller is not okay, not at all. But now it's getting way better. I'm wondering if I can power this up. It will be hard to actually engage it, but I'll try. Okay, now it rotates, and I'm gonna take this alcohol swab and try. Okay, sure. That's gonna be so much more efficient. It's smart. This thing is smart. It realizes that there's nothing going on and just shuts off. but it's already looking so much better. Look at this and this. Okay, now I'm gonna take dry one, just dry it up. Okay, wrong. Where's that? Okay. Yikes. There's still lots of gunk in there. What's gone better? Yikes. Oh my god. It's pretty dirty. Well, yeah, looks like it needs some good cleaning. It's getting better and better. Another one. This is the case. Looks like you're gonna clean up everything today. Still pretty dirty, like I'm surprised. Unless it's like this thing is just getting disintegrated. That's why it's shedding so much gunk and material, but yeah, it's not too bad, it's getting better. Alright, I'm gonna clean up pretty much everything, and I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna do this off camera because it's just a lot of work. Alright guys, okay, I've cleaned up both decks, both capstans, pinch rollers and heads and everything else. So now we're gonna take the speed calibration 3150 Hz and we're gonna see is it good or not. Okay, our 3144, 3150. I think that's as good as it can be. Right? Perfect. Deck B. This one is running slightly faster, I'd say. Okay, but it's like so slight. The funny thing is about this particular deck that speed control is not in the air, it's actually right in the motor, which is kind of sucks. But again, I think this particular one runs slightly faster. This particular one runs slightly slower, so I'm not sure this is a big deal. What do you guys think? It's like about 25 Hertz slower. I think that's fine, because like really adjusting the speed using the motor, it's like you have to poke a hole here and just use your screwdriver, and it's still gonna be not precise like at all. So I think we're good. We are good. That's probably it. I think this deck is actually very well operational, at least for now. I'm not sure how long these belts gonna last, but they are working pretty well at the moment. Yeah, it was not really repair, it was a little bit of a tune-up, clean-up kind of video, and probably a video when you actually look inside of this relatively nice deck, I would say. So definitely keep it. I'm gonna keep it for now. Maybe if I get something even more advanced, it'll be amazing. But yeah, for now I'm gonna keep it around. I'm gonna play some cassettes on it, for example, cassettes which are not the best quality. I'm gonna see if they are okay, test them and things like that, because I don't want to put any crappy cassettes in my good decks, you know, not to ruin heads and make it dirty, who knows what. Because actually I'm getting from time to time, I'm getting these boxes of like old cassettes people that just try to get rid of, so which is, it's good to have some kind of not better but decent, relatively decent something, just to test those cassettes to see if they are good or not, you know, if they are have good level or not. In order to see that, you have to have relatively good cassette deck. So guys, thank you for watching and see you next time. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you like video, please like, don't be shy. If you have comments, just please comment away. I'll be happy to talk to you. See you next time and ciao.